Today we're going to be looking at factoring perfect squares and the difference of two squares and cubes. Factoring perfect squares, we're given the example a squared plus 8a plus 16, and that factors into a plus 4 quantity squared. So that's the answer to our first one. You'll notice I took the square root of a squared to get a, and the square root of 16 to get 4. The middle term, since it is a perfect square, you'll have 4a plus 4a for a total of 8a. So let's look at the second example. We have 25s squared plus 50s plus 4. Using the same ideas, if I take the square root of 25s squared, I get 5s, and the square root of 4 is 2. Checking the middle term, I get 50s. 5s plus 2, the quantity squared then, is our answer. Now we have 4x squared. We know the square root of that is 2x. And we need a negative in here, so this guy is going to have to be a negative. So we now know it's 2x minus 1 quantity squared. Again, looking at that same pattern with a negative in the middle but positive on the right, means it's going to be a negative in the middle. The square root of 9y squared is 3y, and the square root of 36 is 6. Looking at our next example, factoring the difference of two squares, if we're given 25x squared minus 9, notice that both numbers are perfect squares, so it factors into 5x, which is the square root of that, and 3, which is the square root of that. And because they are both perfect squares and there's a negative in the middle, it'll be a negative and a positive. So we are left with 5x minus 3 times 5x plus 3. An example just like it, we have two perfect squares. Square root of 100x squared is 10x, and the square root of 49y squared is 7y. Again, the pattern is a minus plus, so we have 10x minus 7y times 10x plus 7y. Now we're looking at factoring cubes. We have a cubed plus b cubed. The formula goes into the quantity a plus b times the quantity a squared minus ab plus b squared, and that'll always work for us. So here's an example. We have x cubed plus 64. So that's in this form. And if I take the cube root of x cubed is x, and the cube root of 64 is 4. So now I know what my a and b are in the formula. So we just write it out. If we're doing a and b, it's x plus 4. And we do our a squared, which is x squared, and minus ab. Minus ab is our 4x, and plus 16 is our b squared. So our answer is simply the quantity 4x plus 4 times x squared minus 4x plus 16. Factoring cubes still, but we have a negative in the middle. Our formula is a minus b, the quantity, times a squared plus ab plus b squared. And they give us the example of y cubed minus 27. So if we take the cube root of y cubed, we get y, and the cube root of 27 is 3. So now we know our AB. Plugging it into the formula, we find that it's y minus 3 times y squared plus 3y plus 9.